Well, I remember
It'll be like an experiment, like a YouTube video. You'll smoke while
I have bosses.
You don't have to say what you're doing.
I will.
That's true. You fucking say it.
Be honest with you.
I think that when you find out that you don't have to take the most gigantic bong rip in the world, you might think it's okay.
Yeah, that'll change a lot of things for you.
Yeah. I blame Liz for that.
Like, you went, instead of like trying to learn how to ride a bike, you just jumped in a fucking dump truck and decided to take off. Like, it's exactly what you did.
Dude? So...
Welcome to Die.
Hello, Benjamin, and welcome to Die, a weekly podcast where we discuss all kinds of just fun stuff.
We're going to talk about theories and maybe fairies and maybe fairy theories.
Like, for real?
I mean, we might. Hey,
I don't want to do fairies.
Hey, don't limit yourself. Listen, as soon as you take someone else's advice on how to do something, you're just limiting your experience.
Shut the fuck up.
You're just limiting your experience to what they know. You got to do things for yourself sometimes to figure out.
Okay,
maybe there's something new there for you to discover.
First of all, if we were going to do an episode on fairies, it would be the Fae.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to ask you, Josh, if you could change your feet,
would you? I definitely would.
Because they break all the time.
Would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew?
How many times? 8 times?
Well, I guess 8 incidents, really, but the last one was 3 breaks, so it's technically 10 breaks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh's feet are not good.
It's bad time. Let's not talk about my feet. What are we talking about today, Jesse?
Today we're talking about John Titor, an infamous supposed internet
how that's
time
pronounced?
traveler.
I wasn't sure either.
I've always heard it Titor.
You've heard it pronounced Titor?
Yeah, I've heard it pronounced Titor.
Titty?
I mean...
Titter?
I didn't want to... Yeah.
Tighter?
Tighter, maybe. Teeter.
Old John Titor. No,
I am Titor.
No, I don't know, maybe. I've always heard it Titor.
If he's from the future, his name could be Titor.
Well,
but you can call me John.
We'll get into
it's probably how it went. I guarantee that's how it went. He showed up, he was like, hey, name's Titor. And they were like, listen, future man, no, that's not going to fly.
Well...
So we're going to call you John. How about that?
He never spoke because this was all done over very, very early internet forums.
Well, yeah, but he had to talk to someone when he showed up.
I mean...
You talked to somebody.
Probably. We'll get into it.
Okay. All right, so, let's get into it.
Let's get in the Wayback Machine, all right? Our own little time travel device and go way back to the year 1998. We're talking NSYNC and...
Modem? Dial-up? Anybody?
Yeah, dial-up. I got it. I knew what it was.
Oh, wow, dude. I was way off.
Spaced,
I did not know what we were doing.
All right.
But I'm glad you said it because it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
You
were one of those privileged kids that just
Yeah.
moved right into the DSL, weren't you?
Oh, we
You
lived in the
fucking
sticks.
dick. Yeah.
And we had
I didn't
dial-up.
have fucking internet till I got to college.
Well,
Wow.
I had DSL until I went to college.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
DSL was better than dial-up,
Yeah.
man.
Or no, it was whichever one that you couldn't use the phone during. Yeah, it was
dial-up.
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 Yeah, I had dial-up.
You pick up the
until I
phone
went
and
to
it's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your mom's like... I'm trying to fucking Google some shit! You're like, alright. Sorry.
No, see, I always went
also
down at
playing
like 2 in the
solitaire.
morning.
Solitaire. And then it
And I
takes
waited,
you 30
like,
minutes to... Listen, kids,
5
you got it
minutes for
so
boobs.
easy. You kids have it so easy. So I remember a time before the internet when it was like, if you want to know something, you just didn't get that chance to find out.
You went to the library.
Well, I lived out of town. So I was like, Mom, I got a question. Like, how's a rainbow made? And she's like, fuck off. Nobody knows. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, I guess that solves that. So then when you get the internet, you're like, oh my God, the whole world's at my fingertips. And then it takes you literally 20 minutes to just connect.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just press a button and you're there. Like, you sit there and it's like connecting, and it makes all those horrific sounds I made earlier. And then you sit there and then it connects. And then sometimes the little dots will go across and it'll say you connected. And you'll then it starts to load your page from the top down, 1 pixel at a time. And it's just like, it's
and
got
then you get to do that every time you go to a new page.
Yeah, it's got to dig through the pile of pixels and put it on the screen, and then it finds the next one and it puts that one up, and then sometimes it just quits, and then you have to reconnect. And it was no big deal for me to take literally an entire weekend to download a song or two.
I waited 5 minutes for pictures of boobs.
Mm-hmm.
I did that a lot.
Oh yeah. And it's like, so like, especially when like the rents are still in the house, you know? Like, Mom, I need to use the computer for the next 3 hours, you know, maybe fuck off.
Don't fucking come in.
So you're like sitting there, the screen's slowly like edging down, right? And you're like, yeah, come on, man. And it's just getting ready to get to the nip, and then you hear coming down the hall, and you're like, shit! You gotta hit the X button really quick, and you don't actually get to see anything.
There's 2 hours down the drain.
Yeah.
Mom's like, you done yet? And you're like, no, I didn't even get started.
Yeah, we kept ours in a very public space where anyone could see it at any time.
No, ours was down in the basement in a corner.
Where it should have
Dad?
been.
Did you ever try looking up titties on dial-up computer?
No.
You don't want to contribute?
No.
Yeah, see you later.
I didn't even know they had boobs on the internet.
I did what?
Oh, fuck. Well, anyway, so I'm going to paint the picture here, right? Year's 1998. You're laying in your race car bed.
Yeah.
Fucking, your frosted tips all gelled up.
Yeah.
NSYNC's playing. You got your Game Boy with Pokemans in it, right?
Dale Earnhart's not dead.
Nah, yep. And,
Jinkos.
Yeah.
Jinkos, baby. That's right. So the year's 1998. And this all started when, you know who Art Bell is on Coast to Coast AM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he had a section where people could call in. What was it called? Open timelines?
Open Bobs.
That's what it was. Anyway.
Send the vagine. Open Bobs.
Yes. During this, he got a message from someone calling himself John Titor, and he claimed to be from the future.
I'm gonna say it's probably pronounced Teeter. I just want to say.
Okay,
that.
let's do. I'm gonna say Titor.
Titter doesn't sound like a name.
Okay, fine.
It doesn't sound like a real name.
John Titor.
Uh-huh.
John Titor comes in and claims to be from the future. This was sent in by fax. Yeah, and for those of you that don't know what a fax machine is, I'm going to be honest with you. I was alive when they were a big deal, and I still don't fucking know what they do. So
fax is short for facsimile, which is like a copy. So it scans your document and then sends the data across telephone lines to another machine that interprets the data and prints a facsimile of the document you scanned.
So like a long-distance copier, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
We still use them.
Yeah,
At
you
work all the
still
time.
use
I don't
them.
know why
Oh,
anyone
God.
does, but
So he faxed in this message, which Art Bell read on air, and this is a condensed version. Would you like me to read it?
yes.
Yeah, read
Okay.
it.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This John Titor guy reminds me of a wannabe John Connor. I'm gonna channel my inner John Connor-esque thing here.
Are you John Connor?
I had to fax when I heard other time travelers calling in from any time past the year 2500 AD. Please let me explain. Time travel was invented in 2034. Offshoots of certain successful fusion reactor research allowed scientists at CERN to produce the world's first contained singularity engine. The basic design involves rotating singularities inside the magnetic field. By altering the speed and direction of rotation, you can travel both forward and backward in time. Time itself can be understood in terms of connected lines. When you go back in time, you travel on your own original timeline. When you turn the singularity engine off, a new timeline is created due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there.
Living flesh over a metal endoskeleton.
And then it kind of goes... So right away he establishes that basically time travel isn't on one string, you go backwards on the string, forwards on the string. You hop to a different timeline altogether where the events that are going to take place, basically. Which there's a theory for that, and I'll get to that in a minute. Then he goes on. Some interesting outcomes are, one, you meet yourself. Oh, shit, sorry. Some interesting outcomes of this one, you meet yourself. I have done it often, even taken a younger version of myself along for a few rides before returning myself to the new timeline and going back to mine. 2, you can alter history in the new universe that you've just created. Most of the time, the changes are subtle. Sometimes I'll notice a car models that don't exist, or books that come out late, like Berenstain Bears.
Yep.
It's all fucking coming together. Unfortunately, it was also discovered that anyone going forward in time from my 2036 hit a brick wall in the year 2564. Please pray that we discover the reason why there is no apparent future after 2564.
Hit a wall,
Coming to a theater near you this summer. He described a Y2K disaster that would leave people frozen to death, a government instituting martial law, power facility in Denver destroyed by a mob, and a communal government system sprouting out of the chaos.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. He also wrote another one. Glad you're back. Faxed this information to you the day before you left the air. I wanted to make sure it wasn't lost in the shuffle, so I'm sending a gift.
Technical difficulties.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't lost in the shuffle, so I am sending a gift. As I said then, I am a time traveler. I've been on this world line since April of this year and plan to leave soon. Typically, time travelers do not purposefully affect the world lines they visit. However, this mission is unusually long, and I've grown attached to some of the people I've met here. He goes on to send some other stuff, but the majority of John Titor's information comes from on the Time Travel Institute forum. The very, very first post was in November 2000 under the name timetravel_0. And then he moved over to the Art Bell forums under the pseudonym John Titor.
So was that him that made that original post on the...
Yes. In 1998, the fax was sent.
Okay.
That was his first claim, and then he moved in the year 2000 to a forum, and then in 2001 to another. No.
So now, is he actively time traveling to these years?
That's what he says. He basically he's on a mission, and he time travels back and then stops off in certain years. He posted until late March 2001 and then quit. Never posted again.
And, I mean, what was he do? Was he, like, stopping off at the local library and accessing the computer, or what?
I mean, I don't really know. I don't think he was always super vague about shit.
So
sounds totally legit.
So what was his purpose being here? Was it to obtain a computer? Was that
Yes. So
the entire?
Yeah, he claimed to be a soldier from the year 2036 and lived in Tampa, Florida, and was sent back in time by the government to the year 1975 to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer. They needed it to run debugs on like legacy computer programs and stuff like that. Said that he claimed he was personally chosen due to his paternal grandfather being directly involved in the assembly and programming of the IBM 5100s.
So I don't know anything about that specific model of computer. Are we talking about like some gigantic retro computer here?
That's a good question. I think they were one of the first like
desktop models?
Yeah. I don't think they were
just trying to imagine him like shoving this thing into his time machine.
Just like stuffing it down his pants. No, I just got this weird lump trying to go get it checked out. Don't worry about me. Yeah.
So he was hand selected by the government because his grandpa helped develop the computer.
Yes.
So they were like, listen, we know you don't know jack shit about it. It's just really symbolic, okay? we're trying to be like those guys, you know?
Well,
it's
maybe it was something about he could pass off as his grandpa or something. Maybe it looked a lot like him. I don't know. He never really did much detail. But the IBM 5100, you've probably seen them in really old shows. It's basically a keyboard.
Monitor all in one.
Yeah, but the monitor's like 4 inches tall.
Yeah.
Little bitty off to the left, and then the drive's on the right.
Yeah, I've seen those things.
Yeah.
So I've read that he had like inherent knowledge of that model of the computer to support the claim that he was related to this individual and somehow knew all of this.
Yes, he possessed extensive knowledge of it.
Unpublicized knowledge.
Yeah.
Because his grandfather
told him,
sit down and train him. Listen, son, I helped build this here computer, and I'm going to tell you about all the ins and outs, because this is certainly not dry talk, okay? It's going to be real interesting, and you're going to sit down, and your little 8-year-old mind ain't going to wander off or nothing. You just going to soak it all up, all right?
Grandpa makes me want to kill myself.
Start him young, you know?
Yeah, get him used to it. The fact that he knew so much about the computer led many to believe that he was actually a computer scientist, or that he knew someone, which we will get to later, because obviously there are people that for some reason just don't buy that he was a time traveler. I don't know. I can't imagine.
I don't see why not. I mean,
so
I don't either.
He chose forums as his platform to warn us of impending doom.
Right.
All right.
Not much has changed in 18 years.
So is he still around or what?
Well, he went back to his timeline, supposedly, because he stopped posting and never really gave an update. The reason that he stopped in the year 2000 was to see family that were alive back then, and to collect things from before the Civil War that would later take place. He was very keen on warning people about Creutzfeldt-Jacobs syndrome that was being spread through beef, and trying to avoid the upcoming Second Civil War. He also believed in aliens, and said that they were still unexplained in his time, and posited that they may be time travelers from further ahead in time than he was.
He also said there was going to be like a gigantic World War III, right?
Yes, he did. And I will get to that right now. Yeah, because he made all kinds of predictions about shit, and none of it came true.
Right. I was reading earlier that they wrote a book on him They wrote
yeah.
like a play on him.
Oh god, of course.
Yeah.
Well, there's even an anime that involves him
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that was the third one.
So he described his time machine on several occasions. He described it early on as a stationary mass, temporal displacement unit powered. Hang on. It was a stationary mass temporal displacement unit powered by two top-spin dual positive singularities, producing a standard offset Tipler sinusoid.
Words.
Yeah.
All right.
So me using
Yeah,
my
that sounds like
loose-
science to me.
Look, man, I played a lot of video games, watched a lot of movies. So basically, it stays in one place, and it's powered by two, basically positively
Titties.
spinning black holes.
I was close.
You were very close.
All sounds like science to me, brother.
The earliest post was very explicit, saying it contained the following: two
Titties.
magnetic housing units for the dual microsingularities, an
Yeah.
electron injection manifold to alter mass and gravity of the microsingularities, a cooling and X-ray venting system, gravity sensors or a variable gravity lock, 4 main cesium clocks, and 3 main computer units.
So either he really was a computer genius, or he was working with someone who was, or he was a time traveler, because at that time you certainly couldn't have like Googled those items and known to put them in such a list.
But you could have pulled them out of your ass if you read enough science fiction and stuff.
You think at that time?
I mean, I don't have a doctorate or anything, but I'm pretty sure I could spew something out my ass that's made
But
it sound like I
are
knew
they
a thing
are they
or two.
real items?
No.
Oh, they're not?
No, like there's no such thing as a variable gravity lock that we know of.
Fuck. All right. Well,
Right.
It's
I mean, the
all
guy could be
just-
full of shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically like two
Most
magnetic housing
likely.
units for the dual microsingularities, basically two black holes contained in a magnetic housing. It's not a thing we have yet.
right.
Yet.
I mean, that we know of.
That we know of. Mitch McConnell.
On a
Right.
small scale.
Well, can't they make? They can make black holes at the Large Hadron Collider, right?
Right.
They can make like micro
Minuscule ones?
singularities. Which, I mean, it does say that they are micro singularities, so maybe, I don't know. But then he kind of changes his story a little bit. From what I understand, it was installed in the rear of an... Oh, no. Never mind. It was installed in the rear of a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette. God, that's hard to say. Convertible. And then he later mentioned a 1987 truck having four-wheel drive.
So they just choose specifically vehicles to put these into.
Yeah, I guess.
If that isn't a Back to the Future stab, I don't know
yeah,
what
I
it
don't
is.
know.
Yeah, ripping...
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
What's the DeLorean? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
I was
wants-
waiting for you to say DeLorean, and I was like, ha! I was going to be like, ha! That's real funny. But you didn't say it, and then I was like, oh, he's serious. Okay.
So did he say anything about how it operated?
Yeah, he did.
You got to hit 666 miles per hour. Satan!
No, he did. I think he said something, pulled it out of his... Okay, he never really went into specifics on how it worked. He did kind of explain... Okay, so he used the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics.
Okay.
Which is, like I was saying, there's not one timeline, there's many.
Right.
Sort of like interdimensional hopping more so than time traveling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how he explained how it all worked.
Well, I want to know how he drove this truck from one dimension to
Exactly.
another.
Right. Right into the future,
Just
boys.
right into 9 3/4. Just right into the wall.
Drive your front porch
Through the
through
universe.
the universe.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
right. So, a few of his predictions, and I love his defense for why none of them came true.
Because he warned us. By golly.
Okay, yeah.
that's
So
it.
basically, he made all these predictions and then said, oh, hey, if none of them come true, then it means that my job worked. You're welcome.
This internet forum was successful.
Yeah, pretty much.
You ungrateful pussies.
So
You don't know the fucking work that went into this. You don't fucking know what I had to sacrifice.
Meanwhile, he's sitting on a couch, like, cramming potato chips into his face.
Now he's giving it the old Mountain Dew, Doritos in the blender trick. That's what his time machine runs on.
Oh, God.
A
True
very,
fuel.
very specific
That's how
ratio.
you actually make a black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the nacho cheesier Dorito chips to the classic Mountain Dew, you've got to hit that pivotal ratio, blend it at a very specific speed for a very specific amount of time, and then inject it straight into your asshole.
It's called...
That's how you bypass the whole vehicle.
Yeah, that's how you time travel, folks.
It's called...
Try it at home.
It's called the Devil's Triangle.
All right, so the predictions.
Okay, so the predictions. Let's see. There would be a civil war that began in 2004 after the presidential election, which would lead to civil unrest and multiple Waco-like events, eventually leading to all-out war in 2008. And apparently this would be on everyone's front doorstep, more or less.
Didn't he say there was going to be like one a month that just kept building
It would get worse every month.
Yeah.
Yep. As a result, the U.S. would split into 5 regions based on various factors and military strategy, and this would end in 2015 with a brief but intense World War III, which, coincidentally, sounds exactly like any time I have intercourse. So...
That sounds complicated. So, did he say anything about what parties would be involved, like alliance-wise, and with the new World War III?
No, he was super vague about it. Like, real vague.
Convenient.
All his predictions were like, something bad's
he's
gonna
making
happen.
this other shit up. Why not be specific?
I know, right? Because he already made the argument bulletproof by saying, well, it's not gonna happen.
All right.
Because I'm gonna do good, so...
I foresee cats, bananas, DeLoreans.
But not anymore, because I told you. Whoops.
And then suddenly, fried pickles.
Suddenly tomorrow.
And your omnipotent being voice is good.
Is it?
Good, yeah. That's quality.
It's like my regular guy voice.
No, it wasn't.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So World War III was basically a nuclear exchange all over the world. Full out nuclear war. He referred
Just
to
like-
it as in day.
Like those buddy book stands. They've got like free books. Take a book, leave a book. Nuclear exchange, right?
Yeah, have a nuke, take a nuke.
Yeah. Welcome to the party. Leave a nuke, take a nuke,
Yep.
share a nuke, pass a nuke around. New nukes in the back, old nukes in front. We're trying to recycle these boys,
All single nukes on the patio, please.
Yeah. No pants half hour. It's a nuke-free zone out here. If you've got nukes in your pants, better go outside.
Oh, this is a side note completely, but we're about to stop recycling in St. Louis.
What?
Like, indefinitely. Yeah.
Why?
It's not cost effective.
Because it's not cost effective. Ain't nobody want to buy the recycled shit anymore. So we're literally just stopping for a while till the market evens out.
It's cheaper for companies to use raw resources than recycled ones.
Yeah, and China stopped accepting our super contaminated trash, so.
We are so fucked. We're all going to die.
But until then,
Yeah, evidently in like firestorms that sweep the country.
yeah, the scientists are getting real ballsy with their description of like what's coming.
Yeah.
So like, look, we tried to like ease it onto you to try and not cause mass hysteria, but you're not getting it clearly. So let us draw it out in very specific detail. They're like, you can expect yearly firestorms during the summers, starting as early as 2040, if you don't get your shit together right now.
Millions will die.
Yeah, millions will die. The firestorms will wipe out your crops. People will have nothing to eat. Not only will you die in a fire, but if the fire doesn't get you, starvation will. So,
And
sure.
so spoketh the scientist.
Sure. Keep
But-
on keeping on.
But
Right?
how much money can I make until that happens?
Hey, man. you
Probably
can
a lot,
you can
yeah.
probably make all of it,
Yeah.
really.
Okay.
Probably
And then-
keep going.
And then the fire will also claim that from you.
yeah, but I'll have money.
Yeah.
So, and you won't
So-
have money, and that makes
Yeah.
me happy.
So, you know, I've got a saying I've said about money. You can't eat it, you can't talk to it, and you can't fuck it. It's really only good for spending. So people that have a lot of it, it's like, why? Why do you got that much? You don't spend that much. It's only good for spending. Why do you got that much? You can't eat it. You can't eat it. And eventually when it becomes worthless, you're going to wish you could.
Well,
You're going to try to eat it.
those are
You're
the
gonna be a
people.
sad boy.
Those are the last people that are gonna care.
But so recycling nukes.
Yeah. Yeah, let's recycle them boys.
Yes.
It's nuke social.
So, he refers to this nuclear exchange, or the day that all the nukes went off, as N Day, Nipple
Oh.
Day.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
Titor.
Um,
Titor's nipple day.
I don't know. He just called it N Day, but never said why it was N Day. I guess Nuke Day, maybe. I don't know. It mentions that D.C. and Jacksonville, Florida, were hit directly by nukes.
Mhm. Jacksonville
Jacksonville.
specifically.
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck anyone would hit Jacksonville. Omaha, Nebraska becomes the new United States capital.
What?
That's
Yeah.
gay.
Which, I mean,
Oh.
would kind of make sense. It's in the
Party.
middle of the country. That's pretty safe.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it matters anymore.
He was vague as to the cause of World War III, but mentioned that overpopulation and border clashes fueled it. And he pointed to the clash between the Arabs and Israelis as not a cause, but a milestone that precedes the war.
Right.
Says he joined a unit called the Fighting Diamondbacks at age 13 in the year 2011, which was a shotgun infantry unit based in Florida. And he was with it for at least 4 years. However,
So hang on.
yeah, there's a lot of numbers there.
Hang on. Let me think about this. So this little asshole was born in 1998.
No. Or wait. Yeah. I suppose so.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, it was, yeah, born in 1998. So the war breaks out in 2008, right?
So when he was posting on these message boards, he was technically alive.
Yeah, he
Where
said he
we're
went
at
back
now.
in time to
Yeah.
visit family. And that he had met himself.
And taking himself for some joyrides.
Yeah.
He would have been like 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's done all kind. Didn't necessarily mean that specific time.
So like we should be able to find this guy, right?
Technically.
Have records of him.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, but...
He's from Florida.
But he used a pseudonym.
But that's assuming he's not completely full of shit.
Oh, right.
Right. No, I'm just saying this is like
Yeah, theoretically, he should exist in this universe
yeah. Right?
currently.
You
Yeah.
should, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you go with his interpretation of the many timelines, which maybe he doesn't even exist in this universe to begin with.
But he was visiting family, right?
Yeah, he was.
Just, come on.
I don't know. I have no answers for you, Josh.
Come on, man. All right.
Okay, now,
Proceed.
however, he would later say that he hid from the war, but was never clear on exactly, was he hiding from the war, meaning, oh, I forgot that I said I was part of the war? Or did he just mean he joined up and then, like, sat in the bushes and shit his pants?
I'll tell
Man,
you this.
what if-
he should have hid from the war on drugs?
Yeah.
What if he fudged and, like, came to the wrong realm and, like, all this shit actually happened somewhere else? He, like, thought he came back to the right
Fucked it
one.
all up, man.
He, like, wrong. Told the entirely wrong universe.
It's like any minute now. Any minute now. Wait a goddamn minute. Looks down at his watch. He's like, shit! That's why he was hiding. Because in the future, they're like, yeah, everything should be fixed here. Come on now. Really. Anytime now. Should start fixing some things.
Guys, I think I fucked up.
So he couldn't go back. That's why he had to hide.
That's pretty much John Titor in a nutshell, as far as his predictions, what he was all about, and everything like that. Now, let's get into who John Titor probably actually was in real life.
Yeah.
So, an Italian television program called Voyager. I'm not even going to try to say it because it's in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
I
Fair.
confini della conoscenza.
You tried it.
They aired the results of an investigation of John Titor on May 19th, 2008. Private investigator Michael Lynch found no registry evidence, past or present, of any individual named John Titor. He did, however, identify the John Titor Foundation, a for-profit company formed on September 16th, 2003, with no office or address other than a rented P.O. box in Kissimmee, Florida. An IP address connected with Titor also geolocated to Kissimmee. In 2009, a report by John Huston of the Hoax Hunter website named a Larry Haber, who was a Florida entertainment lawyer, as the CEO of the foundation, the John Titor Foundation.
An entertainment
Yeah,
lawyer?
does that
Yeah,
mean
he
like
was-
on television or something?
I'm not really sure.
Or was he a lawyer for, like, entertainment company?
Like entertainment companies, that's how I took it.
Right.
Lynch concluded that Haber and his brother, Maury Haber, a computer scientist, were very likely the men behind John Titor, whom they actually introduced in '98 on the Art Bell program, accompanied by different predictions, including chaos due to the Y2K bug. You know, we went over all that. He also reported that John Titor is a registered trademark with the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
What the fuck?
Yes. So,
Okay.
signs point to a hoax. And he's been all over the place. People have been... There's so many websites dedicated to this shit. There's one that keeps track of every single prediction he made, tries to make a timeline of the events, tries to recreate the world that he's from, all this stuff. There's a ton of things, like apparently in their future, they're very conservative. They dress very plainly. Kind of like... I don't know, it sounded more like Hunger Games to me.
You know,
Kind of thing.
trademarking that thing, the name, sounds like a move a lawyer would make.
Yep.
It does, doesn't it?
So, like, in the future, if there's any money to be made off of this, you own the rights.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Yep.
And that anime that I had mentioned earlier was called Steins Gate, and it featured John Titor. It took place during when John Titor was on the message boards, and the main character, like, interacts with them. It was about basically CERN and them inventing they invented time travel and were using it to, like, rule the world and shit. I don't know, I watched like 8 episodes of it. All I remember is this guy, like, sending cheese back in time or something in a microwave. That's like all I remember. But so chances are,
what's your favorite anime show, Jesse?
my favorite? Oh,
Yeah, what's your
man,
favorite
there's
one?
like too many. Let's see. Darker Than Black is really good. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's awesome. I really like Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Tokyo Ghoul.
It's really fucking good, dude. You should give it a shot. It doesn't have any.
You ever watch,
Well, it doesn't have that
you ever watch
shit
Kite?
in it. Huh?
You ever seen Kite?
Kite? No. Well, Tokyo Ghoul doesn't have any of that chibi shit that you hate
Yeah.
in it.
God damn, that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Even so, it's like a childish thing, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. A lot of kids, appeals to a lot of kids. Even when I was a kid, I was like, this is like, I was almost embarrassed to be caught watching it. You know? It's like, what the fuck is happening? So I don't know.
Yeah, but then, like, the shit that they throw it into, like, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is not a show that kids should watch.
Right.
Like, there's an episode in that has scarred me for my entire fucking life.
Is it the fucking dog person
Yes,
thing?
it's the fucking dog
Yeah.
person. God damn it,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Sometimes I
Isn't
wake up in the
that
middle of the night just covered in sweat.
Kill me. Kill me, please.
Oh, god damn.
That's what it should have been saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that's pretty much it for John Titor, an old time traveling flash in the pan that just never seemed to really burn out all the way. Now what?
So I feel like if anyone pulled off a hoax this well, most of them wouldn't be able to keep themselves from trying to bring it up again.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like I'm surprised that there haven't been any new posts or something. But Also, I do think now it would be a lot easier for someone to track him or, immediately locate where this person was.
Yeah, and that's a lot of why he got away with what he said and did and stuff, is because the internet was so new that nobody knew how to track IP addresses and shit like that.
And no one expected anyone to be pretending to be anyone else.
Exactly.
It was in its infancy.
Just a product of the times. You probably couldn't do this shit now. Although I say that, and then we have shit like QAnon. So...
Fucking Slenderman.
Oh, God. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Do you guys have any theories about John Titor? What he could have been, what he was up to, what he was all about?
I think that a time traveler never would have behaved the way that he behaved.
Right.
I don't think they would have made themselves so known.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been as public.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
he
he
would have done
tried
his
to reach out
business
to the
and
public
left.
first.
If he wanted to warn anyone, I think he would have gone to some direct individuals who mattered.
Not the government. Skip the government. You want to get shit done? Skip working with the government. Go right to the source.
But also not all the weirdos writing on forums for time travel websites.
Yeah.
Right.
So, unfortunately, it sounds like we're on the same page about this one being bullshit.
Sounds like a pretty... I mean, I'll give the guy credit.
It was
it's
well
probably
planned.
fake. Yeah, it took a lot of effort. It was a pretty well planned out thing, including the copyright. It's getting a lot of attention. Obviously, we're still talking about it 20 years later. I mean, kudos to these guys. If it's fake, it's fake. Come on. It's fake. Shut up. Don't even talk to me about your fucking whatever. I don't want to hear it. It's fake. Kudos to the lawyer and his computer science brother.
Now, I would agree with you, except this just makes way too much sense. You see, I think that he's right about everything that he said. I think that he helped us avert all of these disasters because...
Clearly.
In 1998, I was 8 years old. And you know what I remember reading around that time, Josh?
What?
The Berenstain Bears.
That's true.
I wonder if...
And I think when he changed everything, it did it.
I wonder if anyone looked into the suspected individual they think who did this, the lawyer, or the brother, right, who's the computer engineer.
Yeah.
Like, did they look into any of their relatives? Like, to see if any of them were also computer engineers or a grandfather involved in the military?
I don't know. I doubt it.
Probably not.
No, I mean, from what I'm seeing here, it just looks like they were like, oh, this fucking guy's got all this shit trademarked.
Yep.
Well,
I'm sure anyone with the time and resources to look into something like this probably like glanced at the case file and they were like, no, I'm not gonna look into that. What are you, fucking retarded? No, of course not.
I think that maybe there is just something to that. I think maybe he did go back and change time, and that's why the Mandela effect is a thing that keeps rippling outwards.
So with the time travel thing, I heard there's a theory with it. The exact second that time travel became possible, any and every thing that could possibly be changed would happen all at once.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, time travel's not possible for us yet. So what year did he say time travel started happening? 2034?
I believe it was 2036.
2036?
Or no, wait. 2054, I think. I don't remember.
Hell. Well, if we're still around, you might just fucking die all of a sudden. Because maybe he went back and something happened and your medicine you need to live as a fucking 70-year-old man just doesn't exist anymore. And it's like you've never taken it before in your life, and then you're just going to fall over fucking dead right there.
Why not?
Why not? All the changes are going to happen all at once. The fucking instant time travel's possible. All the things happen.
So he actually, Kat, to answer your earlier question, I had completely skimmed over this. He does go into detail about how time travel works with his device.
Let's hear it.
By using two microsingularities in close proximity to each other, it is possible to create, manipulate, and alter the curve fields to create a Tipler gravity sinusoid. This field can be adjusted, rotated, and moved in order to simulate the movement of mass through a donut-shaped singularity and into an alternate world line, thus safe time travel.
Right.
I mean, the guy does know how to make it sound like he knows what he's talking about.
He's churching up that speak pretty good.
He also said that the time machine was created by General Electric, which I think is funny.
Yes.
Because clearly it's going to be Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Tesla never
Yeah, did he
died.
say anything about them?
No, a bit.
Not a fucking word.
Not a word.
Not a fucking word. All right. Guy's a quack.
All right. So.
Did he say anything about Donald Trump being the president?
No, and actually, it's kind of funny you mention that. A lot of people think that is
the election he was
the
talking
Mandela
about.
effect.
Oh.
What? How is that the Mandela effect?
That the reason that the Mandela effect is
Half the population refuses to believe that that's their president?
It's proof. It's proof that our timeline got fucked up.
Oh, I see.
That's just what people.
I see.
That's just what people think. But
Shit started going bananas.
okay, so I think I do like this little bit of information that John Titor gives us, and I think it can help us all in our daily lives. Just something to think about when you're out and about.
I don't think he helped me at all.
No, listen. This is what he said. This was from a February 2005 interview in Hustler magazine.
Oh.
If you want to survive the coming conflict, learn to let fear keep you alive. Too many of you turn off the life-saving natural instincts and premonitions when it's convenient. The same person who has 5 deadbolt locks on their door will think nothing about getting into a parking garage elevator with a total stranger. If you want to live, keep your eyes open.
Solid advice.
I don't know. That sounds like something who's never been in that kind of situation would say.
What, never been in an elevator?
In like a fear-invoked situation. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think he's just saying that you need to always be aware.
But he's really, really doctoring up his verbiage.
He's on fucking TV.
So this is a guy that reads too many science fiction novels.
100%.
Probably watches a little too much TV. I don't know. I feel like he has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Kind of like with the time travel thing. He's just going to use a lot of flashy language, and you're going to be like, oh, holy shit. This guy knows what he's talking about. I don't buy it. I think he's a fucking quack.
Maybe. And maybe he just saved the world.
So, I was just reading about his idea of the superverse, and to just give it an image for you to understand a little better. Like, imagine a plot at the center. Did you ever do, like, fundraisers when you were a kid? And, like, I always wanted to fucking win the fiber optic toy.
Yeah.
I wanted one of those so bad. Anyway, so he's saying it's like a fiber optic thing. So, like, you've got this single plot, and then it just, like, branches out into, like, hundreds and thousands and millions of other plots, like strands on a fiber optic. And some of them travel on indefinitely, but some of them end abruptly. And so you just have, like, this mass branching out from one center point. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Well, keep in mind, the lawyer and the computer scientist brothers obviously have to be pretty intelligent people, right? And being brothers, I know I've got one of those. My brother and I, we spent a lot of time in our youth fantasizing about one thing or another, putting together what ifs, like, hey, if we ever get older, we need to, we could do this and we could do this together. I feel like this is probably just one elaborate, when we get older, we need to do this, this, and this. And these guys are intelligent enough that they can sling the lingo.
Right.
They can convince you that the fucking, double singularity twin engine fucking fist cocula they've got on top of the goddamn dongle fucking skungledingus, that's how they get between point A and point B.
It's innate to being a lawyer. It's what you do. You use words.
Yeah. Call it a confuserizer.
But regardless, I thought the fiber optic thing was cool. I don't care if it's like something a kid.
It is a
up.
cool idea.
It's the imagery is nice.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, so the whole thing's most definitely bullshit.
Yeah. This is when we play like the game show buzzer. Yeah, the wow. Fuck you, John Titor. All right, so yeah, go ahead and wrap us up, Jesse.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's Jesse.
I'm gonna wrap you up in a. No, it's not. Wrap you up in a little doggy bag to go. So yeah, like I said, it's John Titor.
Titor of the future.
Bullshit
Bridger of
time
gaps.
traveler extraordinaire.
Smasher of realms. Traverser of the great beyond. Traveler of time and space. You can call me John.
John Titor. And this is my friend Sam Totter. That's a bad joke. So, all right, yeah.
You said it.
You know what, Josh? I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm gonna say this guy was the original space prick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before space pricks were space pricks, there was a guy named Titor from Space Prickia.
My story begins at the dawn of time.
Patient Zero, the space prick plague. All right, I guess I'm gonna explain the music we've got going on.
Yeah, what do we got? What do we got today? What kind of old ragtime jam do we have?
Well, this group is called Born with Open Eyes. Guys, that's an okay name, right? But I feel like a more fitting title. This is a metal group. I feel like a more fitting title might have been Born Without Eyes. That's pretty metal.
That's pretty fucking metal.
Are they Jesus-y?
Born with Open Eyes is okay. I don't think so. So it says here, formed in 2010 by guitarist Eric Johnson and Alex Katorkis. Born with Open Eyes hails from Newark, Delaware. After a few lineup changes, they acquired drummer Dan Gagnon and vocalist Brad Dubois. Both of those guys sound very French. To complete the quartet and hone in on the sound they were looking to achieve. If you like bands like Oceano, The Black Dahlia Murder, Infant Annihilator, Thy Art is Murder, and others like those, then you'll like these guys. Their debut album dropped on October 12th, 2018. You can find them on some social medias. You can find them on the Facebooks. You can find them on the Instagrams at BWOE Blow Official. They also have a Bandcamp page. This track's called Dead Flowers and Faded Portraits. Suck my feet.
Okay, bye.
Bye.